All right, first of all, real proud of our team, 3-0. That was a classic game that was set up for a letdown with an emotional win last week. Lose our starting quarterback, really one of our team leaders, if not our overall team leader. Uh, Very quality program, top 20 in their division, well coached. They were 2-0. The first half was a thing of beauty by our defense. I think they only had 24 total snaps, which was really unheard of with that. We had the interception that ran it almost back for a touchdown that led to a touchdown. Defense was outstanding. Offense, I thought, did some good things. It was really good for Timmy to be out there. I mean, he hadn't started a game in 2 years, and I thought it was really good. There was a couple things, early I know he'd like to have back, but there's nothing like experience. And then, he started settling down and settling in, I think, in that second quarter. Obviously, he threw for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He made some plays with his feet. The one play that was a bad snap that rolled back there and came down, and then he made a play out of nothing when things broke down. I thought that was a really big play early. Our defense held them to 1 of 12 on third downs. I think that was great, and I think we were 7 of 15. But overall, we're 3-0. I'm really happy with our team, the way they came out and responded, put these guys away early. Now it's time for the real season, with the Big 12 questions.
First time in 2 years Timmy's been on the field. I know you said maybe it took a little bit of time for him to get more comfortable. What did you say to him maybe that first quarter before he kind of got his rhythm?
Yeah, it's just like, first quarter is like he hadn't played in 2 years. In fairness to him, that's hard to do. But he settled down after a short period of time and really handled the offense very well. Very impressive on that last touchdown to JG. That was really nice on the RPO. Just threw a perfect ball. And he had good command. I think his communication was really good. And that's really what you worry about when a guy hadn't played, really started a game in 2 years. But I thought he handled himself well. It was really good to get Dylan in the game too, just to get his feet wet. Give him a chance to go out there and do his thing. And he's our backup quarterback right now, so it was good to get him some snaps too.
I guess you talked about last week that you weren't going to change the offense to suit Timmy. But you were going to do some things maybe to help benefit what he was able to do. What were some of the things you were able to let him do with his own ability?
Well, we wanted to let him run our offense and develop within the offense instead of just maybe with a lesser team. It's easy just to line up and try to run it. We wanted him to play and develop, and really felt like that he did that. It was really good for him to run our offense. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of what I'd call special plays. It was a pretty vanilla overall, but I think he did a good job. Had a couple explosive pass plays that was really good to see.
Coach, on the offensive line there, they seem to buy Timmy a lot of time to help him get comfortable and let plays develop. You're going into conference play next week. How confident are you in those guys up front?
We played a lot of offensive linemen. In the past, we've had 5 guys that kind of went with it. It's been a little bit of musical chairs, but like I said at the very first, we got a lot of guys who can play. We have a lot of depth. So a lot of guys played tonight. We're just trying to settle in with the 5 guys. So hopefully we'll do that here in the near future. But the good thing is we got a lot of depth.
No turnovers tonight. How important?
That was really our whole deal. To be honest with you, we talked about, let's not turn the ball over. The first couple of weeks, we had those turnovers, especially in the red zone, and kind of took away from our momentum and everything. But we protect the football, and so when you protect the football, good things happen, and that was really the really good takeaway offensively tonight.
Aaron's kind of stressed that Timmy's been one snap away this entire time, so knowing that he was going to be the guy going for on Monday, how do you kind of approach this week of practice? What sort of
Yeah, it was real comfortable. Here's what we got to remember: he started 9 or 10 games as a true freshman. He almost beat us right out here. Everybody saw that, so he just needs to get out there. He'll get better and better, I think, each game. The moment's not too big for him. I think that's the biggest thing with a quarterback. He wasn't nervous. He was, excited to play. And so I thought that was really good. He's handled practice real well. My experience is each week a new guy comes in, they get their feet wet, and it starts to become, more and more comfortable with everything.
So we had another great night tonight.
Yeah.
How great is it to have a receiver like that? Yeah,
well, here's the deal with Kobe. he had his best practices since he's been here the last 2 weeks, and it carried over. So that's it. Like, he is practicing like a champ, and it carries over. And so that's maturity, that's growth, that's a good thing. Playing a high level, I think the receivers are getting more physical, blocking downfield. I'll be curious to see, how we did playing without the ball.
You made a change at center in the first half, putting in Caden Hitler instead of Drake Metcalf. Is that because of the early movement?
Yeah. I mean, we had 2 false starts, and we rolled one back there. And, we had a couple of those things last week, so we got to get that corrected. I mean, it doesn't matter who the center is. I mean, we're not gonna move early. We're not gonna snap it early. We got to get that corrected. Caden Kettler, we got a lot of confidence in him. I'm excited to watch him on film, see what he did. He's been practicing really well. But Drake's a really good player, but we got to solve that.
Defense backs really showed up today. I think they were 1 of 9 in the first half.
Yeah.
Negative pass rate. What did you see out of them?
Yeah, I mean they're playing at a high level. We had a couple guys down. Mask. He didn't play. We held him out. Braden Marshall play almost had a pick 6 right there, and the guy's just been waiting. I mean, he's like a ball hawk, and he picked the ball off. Didn't surprise me at all. Almost scored. We got a lot of depth back there, and we're going to need that depth now that we're in conference.
I ask you about Jordan Mask. What's he dealing with? What's the likelihood?
Yeah, I mean we're hopeful we'll get him back next week. Ricky Barber didn't play tonight. He's one of our better players. We're hopeful to get him back next week. And we're kind of gearing up for this conference, run, and we need all hands on deck.
I wanted to be if you would go into a conference run, get some of these younger guys like Jordan McDonald, Timmy McClain, reps in the game, meaningful reps.
Yeah, and I think you just said meaningful reps, letting them run the offense, letting them play. I think that's real important that we've done, and we're going to need that. I mean, this conference run is a gauntlet. We still have 5 road games in conference. There's not a lot of teams that have that. And like we said, we're the travelingest team in the country, so we've got to be ready to go. And that experience and that depth, that quality depth, and it really pays off as the season winds down.
David Townsend's such a good punter. Isn't it a shame that 2 of them now have been called back to penalties?
Yeah, that broke my heart right there. That we talked about all week about we're going to return a punt. We knew we'd been close, and he's dynamic. And they called a hold. And we had 2 touchdowns called back. That was probably the biggest negative of the night. We just got to do a better job, apparently. We'll see the film and look at it. But, yeah, that was heartbreaking. That was like electric. How long was it? 85?
92.
92.
Sorry, Coach.
92. Hadn't hurt. Still hurts.
Look at R.J. Harvey's performance tonight. You saw that kind of second half of his Boise State. He seemed to step up. He seemed to give a focus really on him early on to get him the ball and then let him kind of take over.
Yeah, but him and Johnny, that 1-2 punch right there. They're really elite type backs. They can make stuff out of nothing. So it was really good. He settled in, had a couple touchdowns. Johnny had a couple good runs too.
Talk about the switch at center in game. You also did the left guard.
Yeah. Our left guard got banged up. He wasn't 100%. Adrian Medley's been a guy that's been coming on and really, pushing. And like I said, Bula had a little bit of injury last week. Adrian's a good player, and he ended up getting a little banged up himself. So the good thing is we just plugged in another guy and didn't miss much. So that's the depth I'm talking about.
How was John Rhys helpful coaching staff this week?
John Rhys is a champ. Everything he does. He's been in his hip pocket, him and Dylan. Everything. He's on the sideline. He's looking deep. He's communicating with them. He's doing everything he can to help our team. He's a real leader, like a real leader. So we're very blessed to have him.
And you said it was important for Dylan Rhys to get some action now that he's the backup. Can you talk more about his performance? He was close to connecting on one of those for you.
Oh yeah. Had he threw a good ball on that deep post right there. We just came up a little short and didn't haul it in, but we wanted him to play too. And he's got a very, very good arm. The one scrimmage we had that we let him go live, he was playing like it was a Super Bowl. So he's got a lot of stuff, good stuff to him.
Coach, what do you tell the guys after a successful game like this, going into the first road conference
Yeah, I think what you do, you put the season in segments. That was non-conference. And we took care of business. We're 3-0, and I really feel like we got better. There were some really good things that happened tonight. So now it's conference, and that's when everything turns up. Our guys understand that, and we're going to the defending champs on their home turf, another really tough place to play. I know they had a tough loss today. We're going to get their best. That's part of it, man. That's part of it, and we're excited to start our conference.
Jared Baker had a huge tackle on special teams. What's that mean when a wide receiver goes in there and makes it?
We're talking about in that kickoff team, man. We need to go down there in that kickoff team angry, and we need to put a little fear in people want to catch it. And for the first time this year, we did that, and they fair caught it afterwards. I thought it was like that was big time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.